have to
2,
indicate your
1.
vote for you. So,
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I should be home in like it says 18 minutes, so.
okay, the meeting may be over by then.
Okay.
True.
Please
Yeah, I think
mute.
it's gonna go really fast.
All right. Okay. Welcome to the July 10th, 2024 Advisory and Finance Committee meeting. We have an exciting agenda here for you today, so please don't leave for a moment until we're done. I will go right to call the order. A simple here will work if you are here. If I don't hear you, I will assume you are not. Ms. Butler, are you here?
Here.
And Mr. Dunn, I see you
Here.
are here. Thank you. Mr. Green? Here. Mr. Howard?
Here,
And Mr. Lally?
Here.
Now, Mr. Lally is here even though it's his 42nd wedding anniversary, so congratulations.
It's only because the Plymouth Garden Club tour is tomorrow, and my wife has higher priorities.
All right. Well, she's nice to let you come here and be with us tonight. Mr. Lawler, are you here?
Present.
Mr. Pizarro, I do not see you in any form. Ms. Richards?
Here.
Mr. Snyder? Here. Ms. Tompkins?
Here.
Mr. Wright? I do not see Mr. Wright here. And Mr. Young?
Here.
Thank you. So we do have a quorum. We are here at the Great Hall of the Town of Plymouth in Plymouth, Massachusetts. This meeting is being conducted in a hybrid format, which means some of our members, as you can see, are here in the building, and others are participating by Zoom as a part of the Massachusetts meeting law. This meeting will be airing on Comcast 9, Verizon 47, or on PAC TV's YouTube channel, which can be viewed at pactv.org/stream. The ground rules here are any speaker giving public comment is allotted up to 5 minutes in which to speak. Public comment can be made at the beginning or the end of each meeting, or in regard to a particular agenda item that the speaker wishes to be heard on. Anyone who wants to attend the meeting virtually, including members of the public who wish to give public comment, can use one of the following methods. You can use a Zoom app. You could go to the Zoom website, and our meeting code is 995-2986-0638. And the meeting passcode is 100131. Again, 995-2986-0638. And our meeting code, passcode is 100131. You could also join the meeting by calling in, by dialing 929-205-6099, 929-205-6099, same meeting ID 995-2986-0638, and enter our meeting code 100131. We will hear your voice only. We will not see your pretty face. Are there any questions so far? Very good. Are there any members of the public who would like to start us off with a comment? Seeing and hearing none, we will get to work. Agenda items.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
can you can hear me now?
I can.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Excellent.
Mr. Dunn is in transit and will not be on video, but has audio available.
Excellent. And we see him, and he did chime in earlier to say he was present. Okay, so let's get down to work. Minutes, approving the June 26, 2024 meeting minutes. I will assume that everybody has read those minutes. Yes, Mr. Snyder?
I'd like to make a motion to accept them as, with the changes I gave you back.
Okay. And Jeanette, do you have those, were they substantive changes or grammatical changes?
Grammatical, Yes,
Okay.
and I have them. I'll incorporate them into the final product.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Second?
We have a second. Do we have any discussion?
All right. Second?
Thank you. We have a first motion by Mr. Snyder, a second by Mr. Lally. We are in discussion. I do not see any discussion here, so we will go right to the vote. Ms. Butler, do you approve or disapprove of the minutes of June 26?
Approve.
Thank you. Mr. Dunn?
Abstain.
Thank you. Mr. Green?
Abstain.
Thank you. Mr. Howard?
Approve.
Thank you. And Mr. Lally?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Lawler?
Yes.
And Ms. Richards?
Yes.
Mr. Snyder?
I approve.
And Ms. Tompkins?
Yes.
And I still do not see Mr. Wright and Mr. Young.
Yes.
Thank you. 8, 4, and 2 abstentions, no opposed. The minutes are approved. And the second point of business, which is the most exciting part of this meeting, is the reorganization of the Advisory and Finance Committee. We are at that point where we elect a chair, a first vice chair, and a second vice chair. This is your opportunity, all of you, to replace me, so think real hard before you say anything and vote. But let's start with the chair position, and I will entertain any nominations for the chair. Ms. Butler, the floor is yours.
Mr. Newman, I'd like to renominate you for the chair.
Okay, thank you.
Second?
I second that.
Okay, any other nominations? Ooh, you guys, come on. Yes, Mr. Lawler.
Joe, you seconded.
Well, lots of people seconded, but I'm happy to second.
Okay, any other nominations? No, everyone's quiet. Come on, this is your last chance.
I would move to close the nominations.
Okay, well, I am on the only one on the docket, so I guess we will take a roll call to appoint me for a second term as chair. Ms. Butler, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Lally?
Yes.
Mr. Lawler?
Yes.
Ms. Richards?
Yes.
Mr. Snyder?
Yes.
Ms. Tompkins?
Yes.
And Mr. Young?
Yes.
And 1, 2, 3, 10 approve, 0 oppose, 0 abstentions. So I have been reelected. I appreciate all of your support. I also appreciate everything. Thank you. If you want a round of applause, that's fine. Appreciate it. All right, so, and I appreciate your patience. It was the year, as you remember, in the fall, got off to a pretty rough start. It was trial by fire, but having the support of this committee was huge. It kept me positive and focused, and I appreciate all the work. This is, I said, this is our committee. I'm just 1/15 of it, with no more voting power than anybody else. But it's all of your input from this past year, and I hope there's a lot of input for this coming year. We don't have anything on the docket yet for any articles, so I have no idea what's coming down the pike, but I imagine there will be some interesting things, and there will probably be a few boring things in there too. So I appreciate that. So let's move on to electing our first vice chair. I will take any nominations. Mr. Lawler.
Mr. Chairman, I elect Gail Butler as first chair.
Second that.
Okay, so we have a nomination that's been first and seconded. First by Mr. Lawler, second by Mr. Snyder, for Ms. Butler as our first vice chair. Do I have any other nominations? Okay, motion accepted. Okay, Ms. Butler, how do you vote on Ms. Butler becoming our first vice chair?
I guess yes.
Guess yes. Okay. Mr. Dunn? Okay, we'll come back to Mr. Green.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Dunn. Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Lally? Mr. Lawler?
Yes.
Ms. Richards?
Yes.
Mr. Snyder?
Yes.
Ms. Tompkins?
Yes.
And Mr. Young?
Yes.
10 voted to approve Ms. Butler as first vice chair. There were 0 opposed and 0 abstentions. Congratulations, Ms. Butler, you are first vice chair again. All right, you get to speak now. You have to accept. You need,
Hang on. Thank you, I appreciate it, and I will work very hard this year for you.
all right, short and sweet. And that brings us to the second vice chair. Do I have any nominations for second vice chair?
Yes.
Ms. Butler?
I'd like to nominate Christine Richards.
All right, some new blood. I like that.
I second that.
So we have a first by we have a nomination, but that's a nomination. So we need a first, a motion to approve, or do we go right to a second on that? There's a motion, so you've made a motion, so we need to have,
Well, you need, she's nominated, somebody should second.
okay, so we need a second.
Yes, and I
Okay.
think Mr.
and
Lawler
Mr.
wants
Lawler
to second.
seconded. Okay, great. All right,
And then I move to close nominations.
thank you, perfect. So we are voting, and are there any other nominations for second vice chair before we take a vote on Ms. Richards? Okay, Ms. Butler, how do you vote on Ms. Richards being appointed as second vice chair?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Lally?
Yes.
Mr. Lawler?
Yes.
Ms. Richards?
Yes, then,
Oh,
thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Snyder?
Yes.
Ms. Tompkins?
Yes.
And Mr. Young?
Yes.
And you, Ms. Richards, has been approved by a vote of 10 for, 0 against, and 0 abstentions. Congratulations. All right, we got the
Thank
A
you.
team. So go
Thank
ahead,
you so
speech,
much.
speech.
No, well, it won't be a long speech, but thank you, everyone, so much. In the few years I have been on this committee, it's been an eye-opener as to how hard all of you, all of us work, and I am committed to work even harder. So thank you all.
And thank you for everybody participating in this very democratic election here. And just to further Ms. Richards' comment, I was on the phone with a potential member who was interested in the time commitment on this committee. And when I went through all the things that we do, I even got dizzy. It's like, I went through all the meetings that we have here, the budget prep, the going to town meeting reps, to the caucuses, to the annual town meetings twice a year. It is a real major commitment, and all of you have made that commitment, and it's very appreciated. Your input is valuable. Okay, so do we have any old, new, or other business? Yeah, Mr. Green.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Congratulations on your reelection.
Thank you.
I just was curious about the town's annual audit. I believe that a couple of us were on the audit committee, and I hadn't heard anything about it. And as a former auditor, I think auditing is very important. So I was just curious what the timeline of that was,
Okay.
if anybody knew.
Does anybody know? Jeanette?
I can get you that answer.
Thanks.
Okay. Mr. Lawler, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Once again, congratulations. I have a question on the seats that we have currently occupied, and are there any seats right now vacant currently?
And the answer is Yes, there are vacancies, so we have one person who is in process of coming on to the committee, and then we have one extra seat. So we had 3 people drop off, and I would be remiss, because I don't think we properly thanked Robert Zuccaroli for his time on the committee. He put in a lot of work, very vigilant on that school, the school budget. So we thank him, Robert, if you're listening, and wish you well. But Robert and Lou Cabana, and then Jennifer Zaro Abraham. So we have filled 2 of those 3, and we're searching. I believe the person I spoke with yesterday was pretty interested, so we might have our 15th member. So that's where we are. If anybody knows of anybody that would like to torture themselves on this committee, they're more than welcome to put their resume in the back there. Okay. All right. So I had one piece of old.
Mr. Chair, I have a piece of new information. I was appointed to the building committee last night by the select board.
I saw that. Congratulations. I'm sorry I didn't mention that. And your presentation was impressive. You have a lot of experience for such a young man. Okay, so one piece of old business. There was an open meeting law complaint against me by a former member, Ms. Shaw, and that complaint has been closed out by the Attorney General's office as Ms. Shaw did not request a review after putting in the complaint. So the Attorney General's office closed out the complaint, and so it is resolved. Anyway, okay, anything else? No? All right, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Snyder has moved to adjourn. Do I have a second? And Mr. Young has a motion to second. Is there any discussion about adjourning today? I would take that as a no. Okay, Ms. Butler, how do you vote on adjournment today?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Lally?
Yes.
Ms. Richards?
Yes.
Mr. Snyder?
Yes.
Ms. Tompkins?
Yes.
And Mr. Young?
Yes.
And it is 10 for, 0 against, and 0 abstentions. We are at 7:18 officially adjourned.